Welcome to Tailgate Update, number 59 for the Tailgate Update crew, which I'm proud to be a member. As always, Julie Miller, founder and member, and Ryan Besaw, as always here. And we are looking forward to talking about so much. I mean, so incredibly much on a big football weekend. But there has been some ongoing things in the other sports which are in season. So I'm going to let Ryan take off with some NHL news, I believe.
Yeah, we have a little bit to talk about in the NHL. We haven't talked about it in a couple weeks. So let's get started off out in at the Garden, Madison Square Garden. The Rangers, Igor Shesterkin, netminder for the Rangers, returns from injury. This past Thursday return, he missed 4 games with an upper body injury. He posts 11 and 15 and 1 record with a 3.10 goals against average and a .926 save percentage. And the Rangers are 18, 20, and 2 with a minus 11 goal differential, and they're also 14th in the Eastern Conference as of his return out of 16. So they're really sliding this year compared to last year. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and Shesterkin was playing out of his mind last year. And this year, it just seems like they've fallen off a cliff. Maybe some time away gets Shesterkin right. He did sign a big deal, I think, before Christmas. So hopefully he comes back and he turns things around, and the Rangers can turn things around. So the next news we have, Florida is to host 2 outdoor games in 2026. Florida Panthers are going to face the Rangers on January 2nd at Lone Depot Park, which is the home of the Marlins. And the Lightning are going to face the Bruins on February 1st at Raymond James Stadium. So we're going to have 2 outdoor games in the state of Florida. What do you think about that? I know some people are like, you shouldn't have hockey where you can't have ice outdoors. So
they're gonna. Well, I mean, I did that entire article about how the difference between like synthetic ice and ice, and how you like put this together. A lot of rinks indoors are not ice. Almost very few rinks anymore are like ice. So yeah. I don't think it's really that much of a difference just from that perspective. It's all fake anyway.
What do you think, Jay?
I mean, I'm gonna go and read Gia's article now. I always kind of wondered about that.
Yep, I wrote a very in-depth article about ice rinks because I was curious about like what temperature you had to keep it at. Because I think it was because I was talking about Penguin Pete, the mascot for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and how he died because it was too warm in the rink that they had him living in. And I'm like, well, how does that work? Because how can it be warm, right? Well,
yeah,
it was warm.
Yeah, that's really weird. But 2 in 1 year, hadn't it always just been 1 a year?
No, they usually have a couple per year.
Okay,
but Florida, I don't think Florida's hosting an outdoor game.
Yeah, it's always been like Julie was talking about, a place that you would naturally think that they would have ice, like Yankee Stadium, or they had one in Boston, and they've had one in Chicago. So it kind of made sense to me. I hadn't thought the whole thing through, but that makes sense now.
Yeah, back when they had the first stadium series, the Ducks actually had one in Anaheim versus the Kings. So usually they keep them around Philly area and stuff like that. But moving on to Columbus, the Blue Jackets are placing Sean Monahan on the IR with an upper body injury sustained Tuesday against the Penguins. He's posted 41 points, 27 assists, 14 goals in 41 games this year. Speaking of other injuries in the IR, Penguin center Evgeny Malkin had his 209-game streak snapped with an upper body injury. He played the 12th longest streak in team history. He's now on the IR. So that'll do it for hockey this week.
Okay. I think you had a little bit about Major League Baseball.
I did. Just 2 things.
Okay.
Former three-time Cy Young Award winner Justin Verlander signing a one-year deal worth $15 million to go to the Bay and play for the Giants out there in San Francisco. He's 42 years old in his 20th season.
Wow.
Most innings pitched, strikeouts, and wins among active players, and the deal is pending a physical, and he's also coming off shoulder and neck injuries last season that limited him to unlike Verlander's season.
Wow.
I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but in Game 4 of the World Series this year between the Dodgers and the Yankees, two bonehead fans interfered with Mookie Betts in right field.
I remember that.
Assaulted him,
Yeah.
getting the foul ball. They've been banned indefinitely
that's
from
reasonable.
every MLB stadium. If they're even found on the property, they are to be arrested for trespassing. So they can't even go tailgate or nothing. They gone. You're out of here.
That sounds reasonable.
It does.
Yeah, they were sent personal letters from the MLB.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very
so
classy.
they're probably gonna frame that in their classy house and hang it up.
Yeah, their house.
It's gonna be like a deer head on the wall for them. Crowning achievement.
Look, we all wanted to feel seen.
They wanted to beat up Mookie Betts for a foul ball.
Okay. So, do we get to talk about football now?
Yeah.
All right, we're talking about football.
Let's talk about it.
Julie, it's college football, but it's playoff football, so it matters.
I
It
do
matters
hate
so
college
much.
football.
I know, but it's playoff, so every game matters.
The playoffs, they determined who's in. It is in it.
Yeah, who
I
gets
just
to the
cannot
national
even
championship game.
understand that. Like, I'm still stuck there.
I mean,
With that and like 12 overtimes, I'm stuck.
Yeah, but the 12, just think about it as a very, very shortened version of the March Madness. Instead of 64, you're taking 12.
Yeah, they still pretty much pick who gets to go to the March Madness too, right?
Yeah, it's up to 68 now. They have 4 play-in games, so it's 68 teams. I know, like 64 is not enough. But
yeah,
with this, what we learned from this year is the fact that a bye week is just like the kiss of death.
Yep.
None of these teams would have made it last year.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, none of the teams in the semifinals, forget about the finals, just the semifinals, none of them would have made it last year.
I don't even remember what the teams were last year, to be honest with you.
Oh, last year it was Michigan. I believe they beat
Washington. They beat Washington, I believe.
Yeah, you're right.
In the national championship game. Yep, I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and Bama was in it again.
Yeah.
Michigan beat Bama. I remember that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
But this year, we had some good games.
Yeah, the Cotton Bowl was pretty good.
Yeah. And I was shocked how many people they got in there after the snowstorm they had.
Where was it again?
It was in Dallas, but they had that huge snow.
Oh, God.
They have no graders in Dallas, okay? It's not like they can snow plow it, okay?
No way. Yeah.
They just throw some salt down and hope for the best.
Stuff works, man.
It does, but
if
it's more than 1 or 2 inches, you're dead.
I mean,
it's not
works,
work.
but I have seen people like when Alabama there was like 5 snowflakes on the ground, and like you have cars swerving off the roads everywhere you look. And I'm just like, how did you even find enough of accumulation of snow to even slip? It's shocking to me. So I know in Dallas they probably have like every ditch is probably full.
Now, I should do like a really obscure article about that they use a different type of asphalt in Alabama than they do in upper Michigan and stuff. But
like, look, I understand that.
I don't know that for sure.
Because I grew up in Washington, and they get maybe 1 snowstorm a year tops. Like
lucky.
And it hasn't snowed at all there. And so like I understand areas that aren't really prepared for a lot of snow. We don't really have a lot of plows. Like most streets don't get hit with plows, even if we do have one. So I understand that, but like just any kind of aptitude whatsoever, it just seems to like go out the window if there's snow. And that I can't understand because I've like snow driving is not that much different. It's like it feels like a special level of incompetence I haven't been able to grasp yet.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Well, if you're driving bad enough snow, it's very nerve-wracking.
Yeah,
Yeah, if it's bad, but like typically, I mean, again, you like an inch, it was not even a half an inch.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I'm just like, well, how in God's name did you find a way to make this possible? It's like you tried. You tried to end up there, I swear. Anyway.
So I mean, both of the games were like basically a one-score game, except for the weird freak play at the end of uh, the other game.
The Texas game, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
mean, it
fumble
should have
recovery
been
for a touchdown.
21 to 14. Yeah, it was 21 to 14, and they were
Yeah,
driving. And then the scoop and the score from 83 yards.
yep.
Um, the guy stripped the quarterback, and um, I mean, Quinn, okay, he'd been at Ohio State, and the guy that he had roomed with was the guy that strip tackled him,
Yeah,
which was insane. And then 83 yards straight to the house. You know, he was dying laughing. But that's the most weird coincidence.
I
I
want
mean,
I want to float this idea for y'all. What if the teams that did the best were in the playoffs based on records?
you mean out of the hundreds of schools in Division One?
I mean, with the NFL, they have like the strength of opponents or whatever, right?
They have strength of victory,
Yeah.
um,
But
but
only with tiebreakers, though.
you have to also think the NFL has 32 teams,
Yes.
16 teams per conference, so it's easier to be like, oh, you guys went 14-3. Guess what? You're in the playoffs. Over a school like, I don't know, let's say SMU, who goes 12-1. I mean, it's probably gonna come down to some bullshit dude sitting in an office being like, "Oh, they didn't beat somebody in the top 25." You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's much harder to do the based on record thing in college football than it is. I mean, it's an obvious thing to do, but it's much harder to do it in college sports than it is to do in pros.
But they at least did it less by eye test than they could have. They sent like a they sent like a two-loss Big Ten team over a three-loss SEC team.
Yeah,
So
So like basic parameters that we can all understand instead of just like
sure, yeah,
however they come up with it on a whim.
yeah, but
yeah,
they also do a 30-minute show every week on ESPN that they sell ads for, where they do a reveal of who their top, you know, 12 teams are from like week 7 or 8 on. I'm just saying it's kind of the show business too.
Mm,
They're trying to get the best teams, but they're also trying to fill the stadiums.
yeah. I'm so unimpressed. I don't even have anything else to say. I understand your point, Ryan, but I think there has to be like it wouldn't be impossible to come up with like reasonable parameters where like the average person can be like, "Oh, I can expect the pool to come from it's likely going to be this team or that team or whatever," instead of just like, "Oh, well, it's the same people every time." Maybe. I don't know. There,
yeah.
yeah.
I
I mean,
understand, but it's a combination of the computer rankings and the people rankings,
I
right,
gotta
Ryan?
tell you, I wouldn't even watch it because it doesn't even feel legit. Like it doesn't feel like it means anything. Like it's just like whatever the whim is. It
Yeah.
like so the whole season matters less.
That's what everybody protests, you know? But then again, it's like these are two teams like in like a Major League Baseball playoffs, okay? They got hot at the right time. They made it they made it to the playoffs and they beat every team in front of them. I mean, Ohio State had to open as a 8 seed and they beat a 9 seed in Tennessee, who was probably better than a lot of the 6 and 7 seeds. but they beat the 9 seed, and then the next week they go out and beat Oregon, who was the 1 seed. So they had to do their work to get to be facing Notre Dame.
Mm.
Yeah, they did some work coming in as the 8 seed.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
Penn
whatever.
State gave them a good
I
game.
hate it all. It's dumb.
Penn State's got to hate Ohio State at this point now. They beat them twice this year.
I have made my decree.
Yeah, we hear you,
Okay.
Julie. We hear you.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
We see you.
Okay.
I'm just
Well,
saying,
anyway,
I don't have anything else to add.
you have anything, Ryan? I thought it was 2 great games. I was really shocked after the first weekend I'd given up and went, but this was really impressive as far as the quality of games and the playing.
Yeah, I didn't watch them at all. I just got the final scores and kind of like the box scores, but
I was hate watching Ohio State and they won. And then Texas, they were representing the SEC, so I had to watch.
yeah,
And they did not fare well. And then right after the game, they announced that Quinn Ewers had been playing with different ailments and stuff. And you probably saw the clips of the size of the welt under his hand that was like the size of a golf ball.
really.
Yes, it was very on his non-throwing hand now. So, but still, you're playing football and the hand's going to take some,
Hmm.
some hits. And I mean, a lot of people would just disagree with playing the guy that hurt. His performance was down over the last month of the year. And this is the kicker. You are a team playing college football and you're sitting there with a Manning on your bench. You're sitting there with the Manning on your bench. I mean, what are you doing? Play your backup.
Yeah, I mean, he played well in relief earlier in the season when Ewers was hurt. So,
Yeah. I mean, it was
but
so close it might have made a difference. Okay,
maybe.
that's my rant. Another year, no SEC teams in the finals, so that's 2 years in a row. It's unprecedented.
I guess they should probably change that next time with their little voting committee or
That's what I
whatever.
thought. That's literally what I thought they were doing with 12. The commissioner literally thought it'd be SEC on SEC. There's no way they didn't think that.
I mean,
Okay.
OSU won 13 games this year. Notre Dame won
Yeah.
14.
Yeah.
OSU was an 8-point favorite coming into the game. And I think their one blemish really was the loss to Michigan. Right?
They had the early weird loss to Northern Illinois.
Okay, yeah, okay.
That was so weird. People just forget about it because they just steamrolled to the end. They thought that was just such a fluke. And then Michigan just turned them upside down.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. It was a Big Ten championship game with no Ohio State or Michigan. Think
Yeah.
about it. I mean,
You don't see it. You don't see it.
doesn't that just blow your mind?
You don't see it very often.
Yeah. So anyway, okay, I'm done. I'm done with that.
You're done? You're finished?
I'm done with that. Yes.
You're quitting? Okay. Oh, what's up next? What are we doing here? We going to NFL?
Yeah, I think Julie's got some information on the latest injury updates.
Yes, and Ryan wanted me to point out, or mentioned anyway, that Bo Nix was playing most or all of the season with a broken back.
I think it was most of the season with 3 fractures in his back.
Yeah, broken in 3 places. Sounds very 1970s. Like, that's why, I guess, because I study injuries so much, I'm like a guy with a hand boil or whatever, and a guy with a broken back. Like, we've been done this. Like, but I realized that in the modern day football, that's less common. But I think we should probably have more concern about people like Romeo Dobbs with repeated concussions than we should about somebody who plays with a broken back. But I guess, because your body you can get surgery for, you can't really fix your neurons, but whatever. People put emphasis in different places. So let's see. Heading into next week, I'm going to talk a little bit about the injuries. Um, there was a concern about Lamar Jackson and his back because he got a knee to it. And so some people were kind of wondering if that was going to lead to anything, if he had like a sore back, but John Harbaugh says, nope, he's going to still be at it, and it shouldn't limit his practice. So some people were talking about it. Jalen Hurts went to the medical tent during the game, but nobody ever said why, and we haven't got any kind of report on why, so unclear. So David Montgomery with the knee, he's expected to come back in the divisional round of the playoffs. Dan Campbell said that, so just a little factoid there. Isaiah Pacheco with his ribs. He is on the injury report, but he probably will be back because everybody was pretty much out in week 18. Let me see. Ray Davis, we all saw him like get CTE on the field last week. So he's currently in concussion protocol. He'll have until Sunday to be cleared. So it's unclear if he's going to be returning in time to play. The Alec Anderson has a calf injury, and Brandon Codrington has a hamstring. Zay Flowers had the knee injury, and they aren't sure if he's going to be playing. And I think he's not practicing currently. But Harbaugh's like, he doesn't have to practice to play, which sounds like really great advice for a player. Tyler Higbee has a chest issue. It's unclear what that was. Sean McVay has been kind of vague about it. He said he's in stable condition and he should be okay. So it's unclear if what that is and what it'll look like. So that sounds like very hockey, an upper body injury. It's a chest injury.
They said that he had a chest contusion last night. And he was taken to a hospital after the game. And Sean said today that he's likely to play Sunday. So
okay, so he's just bruised.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess like
I don't even know where it happened. Like or when it happened, but
I'm sure chest contusions happen all the time because like people are constantly getting tackled in like the chest. But I don't know because as we discovered with Damar Hamlin, the wrong hit in the wrong place. Yeah,
You're
so I'm sure this was quite serious if they took him to the hospital, but in theory, a chest contusion doesn't sound particularly serious. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye out. I know that they're not going to let him die on the field. So if he's not ready, he's not ready. And that is all of the people that we're like keeping a close eye on for the next round of games as I know it now.
So nothing on Witherspoon? Caleb Witherspoon from last night. I know he left the game with a quad injury. I don't know what that was all about, but it looked like he came up hobbling on the Hawkinson touchdown and he was chasing after him on.
I don't even know who that is, so this shows what I know. Caleb Witherspoon?
Yeah, Kilo Witherspoon.
Oh, Kilo. Okay.
Yeah. The Rams corner. I didn't see anything on it, so I was wondering if you got it.
No, I didn't see anything on it either. Let me see. Yeah, he had a thigh injury. No, I haven't seen anything other than from last night where they're just like, he might not return. I haven't seen anything more recent than that.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes the testing takes a day or so.
And if it's not a big player, people aren't gonna like be clamoring to find out immediately. But yeah, a thigh injury of some type. But maybe it wasn't that bad because he's not on the list of scary stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't sure because it looked soft tissue-ish looking. Who knows?
Yeah.
Hopefully he's good to go for Sunday.
What do you think? What do you think about your Rams, Ryan?
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Let's talk about some firings and hirings.
Okay.
If Julie's done with the injuries.
Yes.
Okay. Well, the inevitable has happened. Jerry Jones has another one bite the dust. Mike McCarthy's out as the Cowboys head coach. Dion, Coach Prime, is linked to the job. He says that Jerry reached out to him, and I kind of want to see it.
Oh, I think we're gonna see it because my true crime people know that there's other links between Dion and Jerry Jones, and I'll just leave it there.
Sure. Okay.
They're friends. They like the same social circles.
Got you.
So.
Okay. Got you. Okay. So yeah, he's out. Dion's linked to it. The Pats had fired Gerard Mayo, and now another former linebacker is the head coach, and Mike Vrabel. No thoughts there, Jay?
It's a bad week for Titans apologists. What King Henry did this weekend, you know?
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah, and also AJ Brown is still in the playoffs.
Oh my God! Okay, him
reading his book.
I love that, and it was some like self-help book about like I forget they shared the title. It was something about like inner excellence. I think was the title.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm kind of obsessed with like his sidelines routine there. I love when people do unconventional things to be great.
Now I heard he reads a passage before every drive. Is that true?
I don't know, but you can see like the cover was so like thumb through, like it's bent and everything. Like you can see that man has read that thing like it is a family Bible. Okay.
But the thing I read was it went to #1 on Amazon. I'm serious. I heard it shot up from like in the lower, tens of thousands. I mean, you know how many titles there are on Amazon. Pretty much everything you could ever want. It was in the like hundreds of thousands and shot all the way up to #1.
Yes.
All because of AJ Brown reading it on the sideline.
Right, exactly. Yeah. He should get his cut.
Be like AJ if we if we read this book. Sure, sweetie. But anyway.
That's funny.
I'm sure that's right in your horizons, right around the corner. But hey, I appreciate like some positivity and some unique whatever it takes to get in the zone, love that for him. So
yes, it's better than the alternative that we've seen and heard about. So
there's so many alternatives.
I know.
Read that book, sir. Read that book.
That's right. Read that book. Stay keep your head down, keep your nose to the grindstone.
Yep, don't hang out with Jerry Jones or
So now the NFL gone from trying to sell you food to selling you books.
It just shows how much of a cultural moment that I am shocked by how many people will like say, "Oh, I don't really know this person." Who, like, for example, how many people don't know who Travis Kelce is until he got with Taylor? But and I'm like, in what universe have you not heard of? I can't even rationalize it, but it just goes to show that there is like such a cultural imprint, even though people who aren't football fans are always talking about like, oh, I have no idea who these people are or what they do. But I mean, if it has the ability to move it to #1, it just shows it's a big impact that they can do a lot of good things with.
Yeah, I would say 90% of the people can't name like 5 quarterbacks.
You said 90% of people?
90% of people can't name like 5 quarterbacks.
Really?
I'm just talking about 5. They might can name 2, but 5 is a lot 90? For like 90%. You ask 10 people on the street, not football fans, just general people.
Well, how do you know if they're football fans?
Well, you'll pretty much know after you ask them.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
and
fair.
they'll probably like bring up an old one. I remember like I was talking to a guy who grew up in Washington, hadn't been there since he was like 20 and he was in his like 50s or something, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Hasselback." And I'm like, "That was a minute ago. Like that was a long minute
That's a
ago."
long time ago.
A long time ago. I'm like, "Yeah, so you might also get some quarterbacks from yesteryear in your questionnaire
I'm
Seneca
ch-
Wallace.
there."
the
Warren Moon, like,
Char-
oh yeah, that's
Y.A.
him.
Tittle,
Y.A. Tittle.
Yeah.
Oh, you might get Charlie Whitehurst. Mm,
Oh, for
Charlie
sure.
Whitehurst,
Yeah.
man, the
Oh,
Detroit
yeah.
Rocket, man.
Yeah, I love watching him on the field too. Yep. Like I
mm,
don't know. I did
yeah.
not know what to say to that. I'm like, yeah, yeah, I was kind of young when in the hassle. Like, I mean, I wasn't super young, but I wasn't an adult yet. So, like, that's a minute.
Should we talk about the playoffs?
Yes, please.
Hmm.
Okay. So the wild card round just took place over the weekend. The Houston Texans defeated the 5 seed Chargers 32-12. Justin Herbert's worst outing of the season, 4 INTs, and Eric Murray, excuse me, pick six. That pretty much sealed the deal uh, midway through the third quarter. So, um, Baltimore defeated Pittsburgh. Russ played very well in that game. Um,
Yeah,
through no
that
turnovers, I
became
believe.
emotional, as we know, because to me, there's only a few players that really resonate with me as Seahawks anymore. I live in a different era where you still have undershirts and very long t-shirts, and when skinny jeans first came out, and so I'm still living there, and so yeah, you don't remember that when skinny jeans was the thing. Every girl will remember that because it was
Oh,
rough.
I remember. I was
Yes, and so like Russell Wilson, Bobby Wagner, Tyler Lockett, I guess DK, even though he's younger, but because of his connection to Tyler Lockett, like there's very few players that really resonate with me. And so I still felt like the Seahawks, in a way, were still there with Russ being there, but then when he left, my soul cried. But then also we still have Bobby Wagner in the Commanders, so that was lovely. But yeah, it was kind of tragic, but I still feel like he got to put like some take some of the shade off his name that people were talking crazy because he went with a shit team with a disrespectful coach. Uh, I mean,
yeah,
Nathaniel Hackett was a mess, and I will never forgive. Even though I'm a biproxy Saints fan, like the way that's not how you treat a veteran quarterback. But anyways, yeah. So I was very sad, but he did look good.
yeah. Russ, I think he threw for 270 and 2 touchdowns. Didn't turn the ball over, I don't believe. But the nail in the coffin was King Henry, man.
Mm.
186 on the ground, 2 TDs. I mean,
I want to throw something when I saw him get the ball, and I'm like, oh,
he,
there goes Henry, and like,
take away his
yeah.
2 touchdowns and it's a tie game. So I mean, anyways, Buffalo throttled Denver and Bo Nix is broken back, 31-7.
Literally. Oh no.
Josh Allen 272
I'm
through the air, two
I was
touchdowns.
really invested in Bo Nix. They held their own like for a quarter and a half, and then Buffalo just buried them.
Yeah, yeah. It
Like I
got
said, I'm a believer too. I think like there's gonna be a
Believer.
lot.
I forgot that you're a believer.
Yeah.
I think we all were. I think we all were.
No, you
As
heard
a
her pronounce it right.
Oh, yeah.
Say we're a believer.
yeah, I'm a believer. I appreciate some Bo. I feel like I remember in an interview he did, he was swearing like so much. Do I remember that correctly? That he's kind of a sailor about things?
I really don't know.
I
Um,
mean, I thought like it sounded like me. I was like, dang, sir, like the amount of obscenities. I didn't know if that was typical for him, but I do love it because I feel like that means that you have a little spice. Okay. And we need that. So, I'll have to look into if he's a profanity machine or if it was just that particular time, but I really enjoyed that.
oh, Ryan, can I interrupt you with the Ajax Who Cares moment of the week?
Sure, sure.
Okay. So you remember Travis Kelsey, okay?
No, I
No.
don't know who that
So
guy
he's related to famous people, you know? Well, he's dating a famous person, okay?
is. Okay.
Um, so anyway, when he broke Gonzalez
Gonzalez.
touchdown record, yeah,
Gonzalez.
Gonzalez, his
Oh,
touchdown record, and he did the Gonzalez over the goalpost thing, you know? And
Yeah,
Gonzalez came and
why do you keep calling him that?
it's Gonzalez. He's saying it. What do you want
Because
him to
I'm hearing
say?
Gonzalez.
He is from Tennessee. Leave
I
him
know.
alone.
I'm gonna need you to pull that together, though, Jay. Put a little more effort into that one.
okay, Gonzalez.
It
Thank
can't be
you.
any worse than Caleb saying incarnate word, okay?
I don't know. Gonzalez is pretty.
Okay.
Gonzalez.
Respect your elder.
Anyway, I was going to say, well, Gonzalez,
There you
Yes.
he
go.
he
Uh,
said that he was going to pay the Travis Kelsey fine, but the NFL didn't let him pay the fine. Okay,
mm.
and he also knows a famous person. Okay, because his ex-girlfriend is Lauren Sanchez, who is the Jeff Bezos
Oh.
fiance. They have a kid together,
Okay.
which is very weird.
I don't
No,
even
here's
want
a
to talk
question.
about. I don't even want to talk about Hollywood and like CEOs. Okay, I've been focusing on it way too much this week. Look, they all know each other, and the more the NFL doesn't interact with that, the happier I am.
Okay,
It's gross. Yeah. Do we
So
really want to hear more about them when we
this
get?
is this is the who cares moment of the week. Ryan, you're supposed to say
gives a rat's ass.
that's a better title.
Now, here's a question for you, Jay. Here's a question. How would the NFL know if Tony Gonzalez gave the money to Kelsey to pay the fine?
They would not.
Exactly. So he still
So
could
he
have
just
paid the
wanted to be all.
fine.
He just wanted to be
Yeah,
all public about it, I guess.
yeah.
Well,
So
Gonzalez is a
Whatever.
unique disposition.
anyway, back to real football.
Anyways, Josh Allen, 272 through the air, two tutties. James Cook, chefing his way, turning the Denver defense into chef salad. 120 yards on the ground and a tutty.
Mm.
Philly struggled with Green Bay a little bit, 22-10 in Philly. Barkley another 115-yard plus game. Three INTs for Jordan Love.
Yeah, considering the fact that he had a worrisome shoulder, and literally like the first play he got plastered to the ground directly on it.
Yeah.
Like, talk about being concerned. Like, oh my God. So
So
I
is
was
that
impressed.
concerning for Philly though? I mean, they struggled with a banged up Packers team.
The Packers just seem to always be able to rally like insanely in the moments when they shouldn't. So I don't know if it's super indicative of much, but we'll
Yeah, and
see.
plus the Packers played everybody close this year, and
Yeah,
they were in the same division with Minnesota and Detroit. So
right.
that's
I
a
don't
lot
think you
to
can like
go.
base their numbers specifically on like their talent level because you could easily find in another division they'd probably be much higher. But anyway, that's just my take.
Well,
It doesn't seem super worrying for me anyway.
for Philly,
Yeah,
all right.
that's just my take. How do you
Yeah,
feel,
I hear
Jay?
you. What do you think, Jay?
Are you super concerned?
Are you concerned for Philly heading into the divisional round after what they did with Green Bay? No?
No, they just looked at Green Bay as just like a minor league team. Yeah,
Yeah, like a gnat you have to
they
swat away in the summer.
That game was pretty
yeah.
close.
That's
That game
I
was
don't
pretty
think they
close,
really
is what
took
I'm
them
saying.
seriously.
Yeah. It-
Okay.
I don't know what the deal
Look,
was. They
you know
just,
I'm always a proponent of only putting the energy that you need to into a game. Okay? And that's the epitome of that.
it sounds like
I be-
Chiefs.
I believe that too, and that's why I'm not in the pros.
Sounds like a Chiefs mindset right there. They play down to all their competition.
Look, expel the energy you need to, okay?
Okay. Anyways, uh, Romeo Dobbs left that game too, didn't he?
Oh my God, that was so bad because he just got that really bad concussion earlier this season when they were wearing the Guardian cap and then got like completely demolished, and they had to like
Mhm.
help carry him off the like when you saw him going into the locker room, he was still wobbly and he had a person on either side, and I felt horrible because it's clear that he was really traumatized enough to wear that ridiculous cap after the first, and like how bad that concussion was. I know getting another one, I wouldn't be surprised if he retires.
Well, we thought the same about Tua as well.
Dobbs seems to be actually like cares about his health and like longevity, so a bit more, I think, because of like the evidence of the Guardian cap just shows
Mhm.
like a change in behavior afterwards. That means that he's not a total numbnut. So I think this could be it. That's just my
Okay.
hypothesis because I mean, I it looked really rough and it was two really bad ones in one season, and he doesn't strike. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm not saying that for sure, but it seems like he actually cares about his health and his well-being, so we'll see.
Yeah.
It was hard to watch though. It was really, really hard to watch. I felt horrible because I know how he had talked about his prior concussion and then that one was so bad, and I'm like he was doing mini fencing. He wasn't doing a full Tua, but he was doing some
Yeah.
minor fencing, and I'm like, oh God, no. I was like, fencing, fencing.
Ray Davis
Yes.
was he was out cold too. Ray Davis
Oh yeah,
was.
that one was bad. That one was really bad, but
Josh threw him a hospital ball, and I mean, got caught in no man's land. But anyways,
mm,
the six-seeded Commanders take down Tampa Bay on the road, 23-20 with a walk-off doink. Bears fans sitting there watching that, going, "Are you kidding me?" Kill probably watched. I was like, "What the hell, man?"
Remember
yeah.
that was the double doink with
Yeah,
Chicago that time.
he's
I'd
like,
never seen that. It's so wild.
"Yeah." I mean, I felt bad for Baker. I was really rooting for Baker.
I
I enjoy
know.
watching
And
Mayfield
he
play.
like is way too expressive with his face. He doesn't have any like he doesn't hide it. So it's like you have to like feel the grief with him every time, and I'm like it's so I just turned the TV off because I couldn't handle it because he's um too open about how badly things hurt, and it just makes me feel that much worse.
That, that's a man that loves to win and hates to
Yeah, and
lose.
I really appreciate his passion. It's just like the empath of me, I guess, wants to like crawl into a ball and never come out when I see that face. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, uh, Also, he did some great State Farm commercials with when he was with Cleveland. They
I
were much
know
they were much better than the ones they do currently with the pro
I
were
players.
they,
miss those. I
I
love
thought that was
those so
progressive.
much.
Was it
No,
Progressive?
It was State
It was
State
Farm.
Farm? Yeah,
was
State
it?
Farm does
Yeah.
the players. Yeah.
Okay.
hmm
Um.
But
Yeah.
I feel like this was one of the most evenly matched teams. Like, so it was like gonna be close, and you like felt
They
that.
were. There was a couple of people I saw through social media that were projecting this game to be no defense at all. These teams are going to light it up, and it was a struggle fest at times for both
Yeah.
teams. And I was very surprised defensively for both of them. But ultimately, Tampa Bay going to Cancun for the summer or the winter and spring. Last night, Monday Night Football, the Rams took the Vikings to the woodshed, 27-9, 9 sacks, ties a playoff record.
I
Sam
was like,
Darnold needs to get rid of the
how
ball
is he
more.
doing it? Because as as you probably recall, last week Darnold was like facing the grass every single play too. I'm like, how is he even getting up at this point? Like after I saw the first really bad sack, I'm like, after last week and then this week, like how is he even like physically moving those legs? I don't know. Could not be me. I would still be on the ground.
It wouldn't be me. I'd never do anything like that. No. Yeah, so ties a playoff record. Sam Darnold's time in Minnesota is likely up. Experts are predicting he's going to be gone, and it's JJ McCarthy's team heading into next season. What do you think about that one, Jay?
There's no way you let a guy who got 14 wins just walk. The guy do a sign and trade. They have to do something to get something for him.
Now, just think of this: 4 losses this year total.
Mm-hmm.
2 to the Lions and 2 to the Rams, and both times it was lost to Detroit, lost to the Rams, lost to Detroit, lost to the Rams. So back-to-back losses happened twice this year to them, and they both
That's
came from
that's
in the same
incredible.
order. Yeah, It's crazy.
Yeah, I think they probably will, but I think there's going to be so many teams that need a decent quarterback that he's going to get snapped up so fast.
Yeah.
Our
Tennessee.
quarterback market is trash.
I think
That's what
Tennessee's
I
looking
keep.
for him.
That's what I keep thinking. I keep thinking that they'll do something crazy like pick, Travis Hunter or
Hmm.
like a guard or something,
I'm
something very
projecting.
Tennessee.
I'm projecting Travis Hunter goes one to Tennessee. To do that dual role. I think he plays both positions at the pro level.
Wow.
I think they signed Darnold. You guys need a quarterback, man, and Darnold. Well, given the circumstances and the right play caller, he can,
Yeah.
as long as he avoids a New York Jet situation, Darnold
Yeah.
can be serviceable.
Yeah.
He can
I
be
would
better
be
than Tannehill.
obsessed.
They have a good two-headed dragon in the backfield with Tajay Spears and Pollard.
Yeah,
They're good. They're good change up for each other.
you just need that quarterback that can get them over the top and get that box to be decluttered. You know
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
that Tannehill effect is no longer there. Henry's not there to, you know, open up that passing game.
Right.
So you're gonna need Darnold, and teams. Maybe Indianapolis wants to move on from Richardson. Maybe they want to sit him. Who knows?
But don't they have a lot invested in him still, or
I
is it
mean, he's
expiring?
got 2 years left on his rookie deal, I believe.
Okay.
But his actions this year, tapping out after scrambling around, I mean,
That was a bad, bad word choice for him.
yeah, like
Yeah.
you're tired. Oh, cool. Get in there, hand the ball off. No, not him. He decides to sit out. That's a bad look, and they might want to move on quicker than
Yeah.
he
Even
expects.
40. Yeah. Even 40 years later, they still call that pulling a Pippin.
Hmm. I would be obsessed if we had an NFL player that because back in the day, pretty much everybody played all 60 minutes.
Oh god.
And everybody played on both sides of the ball for the most part. So I know that we can't go back to that, nor would I want to. Yeah, I appreciate Travis Hunter, and I think like what a weapon, right?
So next week we have the divisional round. Kansas City is going to be hosting the 4 seed Houston Texans. KC opens up as an 8-point favorite. They're going to be playing at 4:30 on the 18th.
But I don't
Eh,
know, like they could just be the people that shocks the hell out of all of us and upsets them.
I hope so. I pray for it.
It could be because they really showed up this last week, and it's always a sleeper team. And like the teams that almost beat the Chiefs, like I remember the Raiders 17-19, like, and it's the Raiders. So like I'm kind of praying that the team that they're not worried people are underestimating. I'm praying that they are the people who can like clinch it because I could see it possibly, maybe.
I I feel luck doesn't last forever, and Casey has found so many different ways to win this year. At some point, it's got to end, right? 8 p.m. game, prime time. We have Detroit hosting the Commanders. Detroit opens up as a 10-point favorite if you're into betting. Um, what we got with that one? Who are we thinking?
I don't
I
I
think
don't
10 is too
know.
much.
You think 10's too much?
Yeah. I mean, I think Detroit is going to be dominant, but I just don't see Washington as being really frightened or overclassed or anything.
Yeah.
Washington's defense is starting to come on, man. I mean,
Washington is like the nobody expected it, nobody saw it coming. Like to me, they could do it. I mean, he's already a rookie who won a playoff game. There's no limit, but and I know the Lions are even though there's not like a ton of injuries, so to speak, they're
mhm.
beat up to hell on the defensive. So do I see that they're probably gonna win? Yes, but I could see a situation in which they don't. But it's definitely like 70-30 for me, like being extra forgiving.
I think a touchdown is fair in this situation. Open up as a touchdown favorite. I'm just shocked at what Detroit did last week to Minnesota.
Mhm.
I mean, with that banged up back end of the defense, I
Yeah.
can't believe they were getting to Darnold as much as they did. AFC divisional, Buffalo is going to be hosting Baltimore. We all know what happened last time Baltimore faced Buffalo.
Uh,
It was just slacking. There was no chance. It was done and over with before it even started. But Baltimore opens up as a 1-point favorite.
Baltimore's looked better this year than they have.
It's Derrick Henry, man. Lamar doesn't have to play Lamar ball. Like he just got to not turn the ball over and just keep moving the sticks. And Derrick Henry's gonna take care of the rest.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, you think back, he's never had a great back behind him.
no, it's usually been running back by committee and then just give it to Lamar and just take off.
yeah, make him do all the positions at once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much.
He pretty much had to be a one-man team. So amazing that if he has the proper support, that he's even better. Shocking.
Yeah. It's a novel idea that most GMs should start thinking about.
Yeah, really. Talk about having a player on both sides of the ball. This man's the wide receiver, the running back, the quarterback, probably the tight end sometimes too. It could go either way. It's so close to me. Obviously, the 1 point is close to everyone. So
Yeah.
I think that's a complete toss up.
That's kind of unusual to me because usually you see close games like that open up as a field goal favorite rather than 1 point. Actually, the last time Buffalo hosted Baltimore in the playoffs, wasn't Lamar's best game. So maybe it's different than what we saw earlier this season. That'll be the late game. And the early game is going to be Philly hosting the Rams. Philly opens up as a 6.5-point favorite. Do we like it?
I don't know if I like it, but some of these games feel more mismatched than others. Like the Commanders and the Lions, the Rams and the Philly. So, like, don't love that because it's like it feels unevenly matched. In fact, most of them are more than. But anyway, so like I think I'll go 75-25 and that's being really optimistic for me.
So you're taking Philly?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah, I think it's pretty solid for Philly.
There could be an upset, maybe, but like I'm again 75-25. I think most likely it's not going to be at all.
Yeah, last time the Rams played Philly, Saquon Barkley ran for 14,000 miles on us. So
yeah, that man is insane. They have one of the best rosters in the NFL. So like I would say most teams I would feel anxious about. So it is not. It's not specific to the Rams. It just kind of feels like you have to continue to whittle down the teams, and some of the games are going to be more obvious than others.
Yeah,
and it kind of has to happen. So
got to play a perfect game in order to beat Philly, in my opinion.
And they would have to have a really bad day. Granted, we did have a body bag game round 2 where everybody was getting carted off the field. In that one, like I said, they had to put traffic lights up in the tunnel because of all the carts to make sure they didn't have any collisions.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I'm sure they had to bring out like God knows who, the athletic trainers, to like because they were running out with all the triage. So I guess there is that. They did seem really, really beat up, so maybe that.
We're talking about Philly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It all really depends on Jalen Hurts on how he plays.
Yeah, he definitely sets the tone, and if he's got a bad tone, then maybe. Yeah. Even with a bad tone, I'm not sure, but maybe.
Really quick before we wrap up, who do y'all pick in the national championship game, the college?
I got Ohio State.
Ohio State?
As much as I don't care for Ohio State, I got them.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame had, good fortune not playing in like a real conference this year. Being independent. I mean, the ACC, they pick and choose who Notre Dame plays. So
Oh, it's like the system is rigged and problematic, and we haven't been talking about that at all.
For months on end.
yeah, but I know Notre Dame. I mean, they get all $20 million from making the championship game
Stop
because they
it.
don't have to share it with the conference.
You know who made a donation to a university for Deion Sanders?
Stop.
No, I
Okay.
refuse. I know what I know. Anyway,
Coach Prime, leave him alone.
Yeah. Does I think we covered pretty much everything we were intending to, even though there's so much this week.
yeah.
Does anybody have anything that they want to promote or promo?
I'm started writing again. Writer's block, still there, but less. Definitely catch some of my stuff. I wrote about the conspiracy theory that Damar Hamlin is a body double. Shockingly, I don't
What?
think so.
Wow. Now definitely that sounds right my cup of tea.
Yeah, well, and for some reason I got the inspiration that I could talk about conspiracy theories, even though I'm probably like the worst person for that because I'm always like, no, that's stupid. But I'm trying to be open-minded here. But yeah, you can probably figure out my interpretation of that. But I guess a lot of people who hypothesize these things don't understand science. So anyway, or how like cardiac arrests work and stuff like that. But anyway, so I will continue that on. I'm also talking about the ethnicity of every quarterback, starting quarterback again for this season because I just like doing it. I'll probably do another conspiracy theory coming up soon, and just so catch my work this week. It's Miller Crime on Twitter. That's where I post my articles too. They're also on the forkball.com. So and Jamie Malloy, our fellow, he also writes for the Forkball. Our coworker, yes, he wrote a wonderful article about whether he felt that the coaches' hiring and firings were justified or not. We touched on that today, but I definitely suggest checking out his article on that because he went really in depth, and I thought his takes were super solid. So, just a little shout out there.
Jamie really does some good work.
He really does.
Usually he has a lot of good work. Good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. That one stuck out to me, and especially
Friend of the
since we
show.
talked about it.
Friend of the show, Jamie Malloy.
Yes, and we have to have him back on the show before we have a protest from Hop. We have a couple people who insist on being guests again, so we're going to have to definitely get everybody back for the upcoming year.
JC?
Yeah.
My dude JC, all right. I love JC.
Absolutely. He's been talking about it since December, so...
Ramos.
We have to,
Jordan.
I just call him JC.
We have to give our people what they want, and we know that the audience loves them as much as we do. So we have to have them back. Anyway, so you'll be seeing some guests soon, and hopefully Caleb will be back shortly as well. He couldn't today because of scheduling, but yeah. So that's what we have there, and then so just keep an eye on the Forkball on Twitter. They retweet and share a lot of articles, and it's Miller Crime, and I'm posting the articles I'm doing, and they're gonna be spicy because I'm in a weird headspace. So I know y'all are gonna love that. Maybe we'll throw in some astrology too. Who knows? Okay, you don't know what's gonna come up, so just if you're in for the ride, and definitely some more true crime. Lord knows we're gonna have a lot of true crime this year, so buckle up, folks.
Hey, we're going to be producing a movie soon. It's called Thumb Creepers.
Yes, I don't know if you knew this or not, but we're all movie producers as well.
Maybe we'll have a short film out soon. I don't know.
Absolutely. All right, make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Ding! I saw that we are well over 1K subscribers now. We've got a decimal point after that. We love that. We appreciate the continuing support. And so thank you, because we couldn't do it without our fans. And so We'll remember y'all. Then when we get big and huge, we'll be like, oh yeah, those are OG fans. So like for right now, you're the fans, but soon you'll be the OG fans that we thank forever. So we see you. We appreciate you. Anything else, fellas?
Nah, we're good. We out.
All right.